Hi, this is Anna and this is Bookspotting. Last time, my first video, I promised that I would do a follow-up so I could talk about the remaining events that I went to at the Edinburgh International Book Festival this year. Unfortunately, the festival has come and gone. It was until the 27th of August, from the 11th to the 27th of August, so it was quite a long time, but alas, it is now over. And there were just dozens and dozens of events, both for children. There was actually a separate section in the back for children alone, and it was just a fantastic thing. I'd managed to do it last year, but last time I only managed to go to one event. This time I booked a crazy amount of events, managed to get to half of them, so I was pretty pleased. And so I thought I'd tell you about some of the ones that I actually went to see. So the first one that I went to see, well, the first one in this video that I went to see was this. And this is a graphic novel, and you might recognize this name right here, Jim Broadbent. He of fine acting stylings, well-known British actor, and he came up with a story called Dulle, Margaret, and it was based on a painting that he saw of Bruegel. The painting's name is Dulle Griet, and it's from the 16th century, and Jim Broadbent was just really inspired by this and decided to actually write up a script. And funnily enough, because both Jim Broadbent and Dix, who is the artist who actually did all of the beautiful, let me find something that's won't terrify everyone, because there are some images that are actually quite graphic. I wouldn't want to show them necessarily here. And it's a very grim story, but beautiful art. Let's see if there's another one here. This one's pretty cool. So he was inspired by this painting by Peter Bruegel. And this painting is amazing. If you guys can, actually I'll put a link to Wikipedia so you guys can see the actual original painting, because it's really amazing. It's this woman leading people into hell, and she's strong and fierce and fearless, and it's kind of an amazing painting. So anyway, as Jim Broadbent told us, he was really inspired by it and thought that he would write a script about a particular character, the main one that he saw. He kind of imagined her life, what it might be like. And he wrote a script, and he actually wanted to play the title character of Dulle, Margaret. But I guess it was kind of a weird proposition, and the studios didn't think it was really a sellable thing. And so pretty much he got rejected everywhere he went. And I think it was a combination of, what the heck is this film? And then also, and you want to play this woman? Like, what? So everyone just said, oh, it's really interesting, it's really creative, but no dice. So he decided to contact Dix, who he was familiar with from his work in newspapers. I think he worked for The Guardian, I want to say. Yes, he's a Guardian cartoonist. And so he actually sent him an email, and as Dix said, he was in a pub just hanging out with his friends when he got this email from Jim Broadbent. He's like, yeah, right, Jim Broadbent is emailing me out of the blue. But it was Jim Broadbent asking him if he was interested in doing the art for this story, because he had thought, well, if I can't do it as a film, maybe I could do it as a graphic novel. So he had the whole thing already done. The whole part of the story was completely finished. All the text was finished, and he needed, obviously, Dix to illustrate it. And it's a really strange book. I think it's quite beautiful, really gruesome. It says a lot about just human behavior and greed and loneliness and stupidity and ignorance. But is definitely something that you're going to remember if you ever have the chance to pick it up. So this is Dulle Margaret, Jim Broadbent and Deeks, and it is put out by Fantagraphics. So that's pretty cool. That was one of the first things I wanted to talk about. And then completely changing gears, although maybe not so much. I had a chance to go and see an event about this new author, Ambrose Parry, and this book is called The Way of All Flesh, and it is a mystery thriller set in the 19th century. Now, I say a new author, not really, this person doesn't exist. This is the pseudonym of two authors, actually, of Chris Brookmire, who is a very well-known Scottish mystery writer, although honestly I'd never heard of him. That's just on me. I'm not usually very familiar with mystery writers. And also his wife, Dr. Marisa Heitzman, who is a consultant anesthesiologist. And she was doing, after many years of doing her job in a hospital as an anesthesiologist, she decided to go back to school and get, I think, a master's, I believe, in the history of medicine. And she kept on telling her husband about all these amazing bits that she was learning here and there about the history of medicine. And he kept on thinking this would make a great book. Some of these people are really interesting outside of the discoveries that they made. And one of these people was Dr. Simpson. And Dr. Simpson was basically the person, he didn't invent, what was it? Wait a second. Was it chloroform? Can't remember now. Well, just anesthetics. He didn't invent using chloroform and such, but he was the one that made all the experiments that eventually made it a common thing to use in surgeries. So they set the book in his house, basically. It's a young man named Raven. Let me see what his first name is. I think Will Raven? Yes, Will Raven. He's a medical student, and he becomes an apprentice to Dr. Simpson. And this is set in Edinburgh, I should say, which is where I'm filming this from right now. And it's Edinburgh, 1847. City of medicine, money, murder. And so there's all these young women that start appearing in Edinburgh dead. Just nobody knows what's going on. And so they decided to set this fictional story within the very much real world of Dr. Simpson. And they were fantastic. They were really nice. It was a really interesting talk that they did. By the way, the book's just beautiful. It has maps of Edinburgh in the ends. And then they had this very cute thing too where they both signed it, like right here. Yeah, Anna, both of them. And then they also had a special stamp for Ambrose Parry. So it's signed by both the pseudonym and the actual authors. And that was fantastic. I have not read this yet. I have read Dulle Margaret that I spoke about earlier, but this looks super interesting and I'm definitely looking forward to getting into it. And now completely changing gears, very much so. I also went to see a book event by a children's author. And so there is this gentleman called Philip Ardaugh, probably killing his name because I don't really know. And so there were two things that I was supposed to go and see him at. I missed the first one, but still picked up the book, and I went to the second one where it was, just fantastic. So the first thing that I'll start with, the one I missed but did end up buying the book, was The World of Moominvalley. And it's all about Moomins, and Philip Ardaugh basically wrote the text to this. Beautifully illustrated, beautifully designed book. And then at the end, which is super special, there is basically like a mini biography of Tove Jansson, which is just like these beautiful paintings of hers that are not Moomin related. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful book, just beautifully produced. And you can see the back is just so fantastic. So I didn't get a chance to see them talk about this, but I managed to pick up the book. And then the next day, me and my little one actually made it to the reading for this. And this is called Norman the Norman and the Very Small Duchess. And it's by Philip Ardaugh and illustrated by Tom Morgan-Jones. And this is a fantastic little book. This is a sequel to, I believe, Norman the Norman from Normandy. And as you can probably guess, it's set during the Norman invasions of England. And it's about this little guy named Norman the Norman. And he kind of sets out to avenge his father. And he has a very big sword, and he's very small, excuse me, and he's very klutzy, and things happen on their own that he's basically not really trying to do, and he becomes known as this great warrior, like this great image there. And there's this one here too. So Philip Ardaugh was just incredibly charming. The event was also with Tom Morgan-Jones, and he illustrated a whole bunch of he replicated right then and there for us a whole bunch of the drawings that he'd done for the book, and they're just really charming, and it was so much fun. I liked them so much. It was really, really great. And so I have a couple more books that I wanted to talk about. So I didn't actually go to these events, but my daughter and my husband did, and I just want to talk about it because it's a really great book. And so it's called Riding a Donkey Backwards, Wise and Foolish Tales of Mullah Nasruddin, and retold by Sean Taylor and Kayal Theater, illustrated by Shirin Adl. I'm not sure how you say that. And so it's this very well-known jokester from the Middle East, from places that are Muslim, so Northern Africa, Middle East, and they're just these great stories and just beautifully illustrated, just so fantastically illustrated with collages. And I just wanted to make sure to mention it. And my daughter was really, really pleased with it and made sure that I went and picked up the book the next day. So just fantastic. And I think that's it. I had another book, but I don't think we really have time too much to talk about it. So Edinburgh Book Festival, amazing. Had such a great time. So many fantastic writers. So many of them have such great presence and really know how to carry a room. Not everyone, but then again, not everyone. It's okay. The writing, you know, speaks for itself. But it was a great time. Loved going, and I can't wait for it next year. And oh, by the way, just a short little note. Thank you so much for everyone who subscribed. So far, I think I got like about 29 subscribers, which is great because I've only done one video and I wasn't expecting much more than like a handful of friends who might have subscribed. So thank you so much for subscribing. I hope you like this video, and I hope to make some more videos very, very soon. Thank you.